Rise and Grind, the best whiskey YouTubers. Let's get into the list. Here at Rise and Grind, we equip you with everything that you need. We share with you the whiskeys, the cognacs, the wines. We share with you the cigars. We share with you the men's grooming tips. We share with you wealth building tips. For this video, we want to share with you the experts when it comes to whiskey. This is a channel where we discuss whiskey because I enjoy whiskey, but I am no expert in whiskey. This is a men's lifestyle channel where we cover a number of topics, but there are some channels out there that specifically cover whiskey. And so we want you to know who are the channels that I turn to. Where do I get ideas of new whiskeys from? And so there's about 5 channels that I watch. To me, these are the best. I don't know if they're the biggest, but they are the most honest to me. They are the most entertaining, and they seem to uphold the values that I like to believe that me and my channel exhibit. And the first channel we have is Stuff and Whiskey. This is a channel, it's a husband and wife team. On this channel, we promote marriage, we promote family, we promote family values. And so we see that exhibited with this husband and wife. They have great chemistry. You can tell that they actually enjoy each other. And you can also tell that they actually enjoy bourbon. Now, in most cases, the guy is going to be a little bit more of the bourbon or whiskey nerd. But what you get with this channel, you get that honest opinion. You get that honest pushback from his wife. And so their chemistry is great. It's entertaining, it's educational. They have this style where they tend to look at blind reviews, and so they're drinking whiskeys that they often don't know what it is. And so you don't get that influence of the name. And so you get a good, honest review. They also look at a lot of international whiskeys, and so they look at some Scotch, and they've actually introduced me to Indian whiskey. And so this is a great channel, Stuff and Whiskey, entertaining, educational, great values. The next channel is the Bourbon Junkies. Now these are the OGs of whiskey too. This team is 2 guys, and they are hilarious, they are knowledgeable, they are filled with this energy. These guys, I believe they've surpassed 100K. This is one of the pioneering channels, as far as I can tell, as far as bourbon. You can tell that they've been doing this for a long time. Their reviews are honest. They have access to just about every single whiskey that comes out. So you can tell that they've been in the game for a long time. They've got the knowledge, they've got the charisma. They seem to be good friends, and so there's that back and forth. This is a channel of 2 friends who love whiskey, and they're sharing with you their honest views. And so you get that. You get that chemistry, you get the education, you get the entertainment. And usually when I'm drinking whiskey, it's with friends. And so how will my friends react to the whiskey is a big reason why I might even drink a whiskey. And so you get that chemistry from them. Whereas with Stuff and Whiskey, it's husband and wife. With Bourbon Junkies, you got 2 good buddies having a good time. A great channel. I can see why they are so successful. The Bourbon Junkies. Next channel is one of the channels that was one of the first channels that I really started watching as I started drinking and taking bourbon a little bit more serious. And it's because it's called the Bourbon Judge. Now, I started following this channel a couple of years ago, and I got a sense that he was just starting his channel. It was a smaller channel at the time. Maybe he had a few hundred subscribers. Now he's got about 13,000. It's the Bourbon Judge. I think anyone that watches it would say it's his charisma. He's very knowledgeable and he is honest. And so you get a sense that he's not going to lead you down the wrong path, that he's going to let you know. At the end of each video, he reveals the verdict, whether it's a buy or a no buy, and you get a sense that he's not going to lead us astray. The Bourbon Judge. Now, he's usually by himself, but sometimes he's got cousin Anita, and the chemistry between them two, it's hilarious. Cousin Anita, she's built for the camera. She's funny, she's charismatic, she's gonna let you know. And for me, that is so important because a lot of times I'm drinking whiskey and it's with my wife, it's with maybe a cousin or a sister. And so you gotta know what will the women, how will they receive this whiskey? And so you get that from his channel when he's got cousin Anita there. You get that other perspective. But from the Bourbon Judge, you get honesty and sincerity. The Bourbon Judge, one of the channels that I think is one of the best whiskey tubers out there. And the next whiskey tuber certainly couldn't do a list without having ADHD. Now, if you want to talk about entertainment and comical, this channel, this guy, his name is Matt, and he is just a flat out comical, funny guy. He doesn't seem to take himself too serious, and that's part of, I think that's how he is in real life. I don't know if that's just the persona that he puts on. It's hilarious. There's just this, it's just very, very comical. He's another one of those, I think he's reached 50,000 subscribers. Seems like he's been doing it for a long time. He's got all the different whiskeys. He puts out great best of the year whiskeys for bourbon, for rye, for all whiskeys. I believe he's a judge. He goes by some title of I'm the world's best whiskey judge. Again, he doesn't take himself too serious, although I get a sense that others take him serious and others value his opinion. I believe he also puts on March Madness or Matt Madness, and all the different whiskey tubers go on there and they compete somehow, some way. ADHD, entertaining, great to watch, very informational. And the last channel that I watch, as far as whiskey tubers, I know that there's so much out there, a few that I watch. And the last one that I watch is Mash and Drum. This guy, he's very honest. He is very forthright. With this channel, I would have to say it's the production quality. You get a real sense that he knows what he's talking about when it comes to whiskey, when it comes to bourbon, when it comes to rye. You get his passion, you get his knowledge, great production value. You really get a sense that he's going to be honest with you. He's going to be sincere. If you notice a trend with the channels that I watch, are they honest? Is it entertaining? Is there good chemistry? And does it look like they put some effort into it? Does it have good production value? And do they seem like good people? And so those are just some of the channels that I find myself watching. Again, I know that there's tons of channels out there. I try to not watch too much whiskey tube because then it just leads to me buying more and more whiskey. And so I try to limit it to a few channels out there, but I know that there's so much more. But these are some of the ones that I am subscribed to, that I make sure listen to what they have to say. Today, for our conversation, I want to tell you a story about a baby eagle. Somehow this eagle's egg got lost and was mixed in with the chicken eggs. And so the chicken is getting all of the eggs and she's sitting on them, or the hen is sitting on them. Whoever sits on the chicken eggs is sitting on all the different eggs until they hatch. And one day the chicks hatch and the eagle egg hatch. And all of the other little chicks are there and they all grow up together. You've got the little chicks and you've got this eagle. And the chicks are jumping around, and the eagle, because the chicks around him are jumping around, he just jumps around. And they all grow up. And they become chickens. And he grows up. But in his mind, because he's been surrounded by chickens his entire life, he acts like a chicken. And so whereas the chickens are just jumping around, he just jumps around. Now he has the eagle wingspan. He's built like an eagle. He can fly, he can soar. Because he's only been around chickens, all he ever does is hops around. He never soars as an eagle. He never flies throughout the sky. He never does what he has the ability to do because he's been around chickens his whole life. And some of you are not soaring. You are not reaching your full potential. You have the mental mindset. You have the intestinal fortitude. You have the emotional strength. You have the intellectual ability. You can fly. But you grew up around chickens. You grew up around people who told you that the best you can ever do is punch a clock. You grew up around people who said that we aren't the owners, we're always going to be the workers. You grew up around people who walk past first class and never think that it belongs to them. You grew up around people who you drive past the big houses and you've always thought that that's not for us. You grew up around people who you sit in the break room and you talk about the boss, never thinking that that could have been you. At some point, you got to stop hopping around with the chickens. At some point, you got to stretch your wings out. At some point, you got to take off and fly. You will never be the eagle that you're supposed to be if you keep staying on the ground with the chickens. But at some point, you've got to understand who you are. See the greatness within you. See the potential within you. Understand that you were not meant to hop around, but you were meant to soar like an eagle. But you will never be able to be that eagle if all of your time is spent with the chickens. Let us finish this conversation in the chat. Like, subscribe, comment. Let us know, what are the whiskey YouTubers that you enjoy? Rise and grind.